We all know someone who has done it. One day they are posting and commenting as usual. Then they simply vanish. No dramatic goodbye post, no final rant about the state of the internet, just a phone left face down and a sudden silence. When someone disappears from the digital grid like this, the social reflex is to assume something is wrong. We tend to frame it as a red flag, an antisocial breakdown, or perhaps a sudden surge of resentment toward the world. But when you see them in person, the reality is different. They don't seem broken, they seem present. They can hold eye contact for 20 minutes without checking a screen, and they don't jump at phantom vibrations in their pocket. This shift suggests they haven't actually run away from reality. By removing the digital layer between themselves and their surroundings, they have effectively opted out of a collective trance. This trance is built on a psychological mechanism known as variable reward reinforcement. Social media platforms are engineered to function like slot machines, delivering randomized bursts of dopamine through notifications and likes. This diagram shows how the unpredictable nature of these hits, the spikes in the graph, is exactly what keeps the brain hooked on the next scroll. The decision to delete these apps is an intentional effort to break this neural loop and begin the process of digital deprogramming. This deprogramming begins with a cold assessment of the brain's available resources. Focus is a finite biological asset, and most of us are currently overspending it. We call this cognitive bandwidth. As this meter illustrates, every notification and scroll acts as a microtax on your attention, draining your capacity for deep focus. But when the apps are removed, the tax stops, allowing bandwidth to stabilize and return to full capacity. This recovered energy is then reallocated. Instead of being scattered across 1,000 different posts, it is directed towards skills that compound over time, like learning a new language, diving into deep reading, or complex problem solving. Removing the screen isn't about escaping the world. It's a strategic move to protect the mind's most limited resource. Beyond reclaiming focus, the process involves neutralizing the platform's primary currency, the pursuit of likes and followers. Psychology calls this hedonic adaptation. Our brains eventually get used to any form of pleasure until it loses its impact. 100 likes feels significant the first time, but eventually you need 1,000 just to feel a baseline sense of relevance. Leaving the platform instantly stops this exhausting chase. It signals that a person's self-worth is no longer up for public negotiation or dependent on the approval of a digital audience. This realization is the core of digital minimalism. It's a shift toward prioritizing psychological safety, the ability to think and exist without the pressure of constant external judgment. In a culture that prioritizes oversharing, keeping a sense of privacy offers a distinct advantage. It provides a level of control over one's own life that most users have unknowingly surrendered to their feeds. Eventually, the goal of constant visibility is replaced by a preference for privacy, recognizing not every moment requires an audience to be meaningful. This leads to the final stage of the process. What happens to the brain once the noise finally stops? Shutting off the digital fire hose triggers the incubation effect. When the brain is no longer forced to passively consume external stimulation, it finally has the silence required for original, complex ideas to surface from the subconscious. This results in a behavioral shift. The individual moves from being a passive observer of other people's lives to an active creator in their own. The clearest sign of this shift in perspective is detachment without resentment. These people don't necessarily hate social media, they simply realize they no longer have a use for it. They have accepted a simple truth: lasting peace does not require a public audience. For them, the silence of a private life is more impactful than the noise of a broadcasted one. The urge for clarity indicates a mind reclaiming its own focus and prioritizing its own stability over digital trends. Ultimately, you have to decide, are you controlling your digital environment, or is it quietly controlling you?